Hi, my name is Luciana, and in this video I'm going to show how you can connect Visual Studio Code to a VM through SSH. So we're going to use Visual Studio Code, of course, and two extensions. The Python extension that will give you support for your Python development. It includes a lot of features such as, just to name a few, environment handling, IntelliSense, linting support, formatting, debugging, all of that. And we also have data science support. We support Jupyter notebooks in this really similar UI experience as you have with Jupyter Labs, and we also have a Variable Explorer, Data Explorer, and everything. In this video, we're going to show a little bit of the Jupyter notebook support, and we're also going to show the remote SSH extension that will allow us to connect Visual Studio Code to that VM. So I will not go through the configuration process for enabling access through SSH to a machine. So for this video, you would have to have a VM that you can already connect to through SSH. If you want to know a little bit more about which OSs and which platforms are supported, you can refer to this link. But basically, these are the requirements. Awesome, so let's go for it. First, I am opening Visual Studio Code, and I am going to come to the extensions view. And I have these two extensions installed. We have the Python extension and we have the remote SSH extension. Like I said before, this will enable Visual Studio Code to run as a server in the virtual machine. The UI runs locally, and you can leverage from the resources on that virtual machine, including the environment, tools, dependencies, everything installed there, while you get the best out of the local experience. If you don't have it installed, you can find it by searching it in the marketplace here under the extensions view in Visual Studio Code. And once you do, you're gonna see this icon here, which is Remote Explorer. And I'm gonna connect to that. And I can see here that it has already the SSH targets because this is already configured. As long as you have the configuration files all set, you're going to be able to see the targets here. If you don't, you can click here on this gear and it will show you which configurations you can update, and then you can just fill in with the information for the VM you want to connect to. And I have this VM that is running on Azure, but of course you can use any VM or any server that allows you to have that SSH access. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click connect to host in the window. This will open Visual Studio Code in the VM. And of course, we're connecting it to through SSH. When you do this for the first time, it may take a little bit of time because it's going to install the server and set these up for you. But I can see here that I am under that VM because here on the left-hand side, I have this information. That's how you know you're not on the local machine anymore. But now when I open the terminal, I'll be using the terminal inside the VM too. So when I do top, this is a Linux machine and we can see that it's quite powerful and I can leverage from these resources to run my application and things like that. Awesome. So now I am going to open a folder in this VM by clicking here and navigating to it. Great. So now I'm going to install the Python extension. When I come here to the extensions view, it will show me all the extensions that I have installed, but I haven't installed the Python extension in the VM. So I'm going to look for it. And I'm going to install an SSH deep learning machine. You can see that it showed me that targeted installation point because it knows that I already have it installed. So it gives also that nice separation between what's installed locally, what's installed remotely. A lot of extensions you don't need to install in the VM because they are local based. So for example, key bindings extensions like I can see that if I want to install one of these key binding extensions because they are focused on the UI, you will install this locally and not in the SSH. So that's nice. Awesome. So now that I have the Python extension installed, I am going to open this Jupyter notebook. And the Python extension is going to ask me to select an interpreter so we can start the server. So I'm going to select this one. That is a content environment, and we can see that it shows me a list of available environments that I can choose from, and I can easily change them by clicking here on the status bar. Awesome. So now that I have this notebook, I am going to run it. I can run all cells, I can run individual cells if I want to. But in this case, I'm just going to run all the cells. And we can see that this UI is very similar to Jupyter Labs. And if you would like to know a little bit more of the data science support we have in Visual Studio Code, we have a separate demo for it, so stay tuned. But what's really nice about it is that all the cells that are running, they are running in the virtual machine. So I am using all the resources available there. And the Python environment and everything else is running in that remote scenario. But I'm still getting the best out of the local experience. So that is it. In this demo, we've seen how you can leverage from the Python extension and the remote SSH extension to get the best out of the local experience you have in your Python development by using the resources of a virtual machine. So that is it. You can get Visual Studio Code, the remote extensions, and the Python extension through the following links. There's a remote extensions pack that gives you the remote SSH extension as well as remote containers and remote WSL, and it's all the same idea. You get the UI running locally, but the server is running on a remote environment, so it could be a virtual machine, it could be a container, or it could be the Windows subsystem for Linux. And this allows you to isolate your environment from your local machine or simply leverage from existing resources that are located elsewhere. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.